Heaven Knows I'm Miserable Now by The Smith. I was happy in the haze of a mukbang hour, but heaven knows I'm miserable now. I was looking for a pie and then I cooked a pie, and heaven knows I'm miserable now in my life. Oh, why do I give valuable time to people who pay me to eat chicken pot pie? Hello everyone, it's James here, welcome in, I hope you're doing well. Today we're going to be reacting to the woman whose blood sugar is higher than a Yeti's armpit. We're going to be reacting to Foodie Beauty. And the title of the video is Homemade Cottage Pie Comfort Food Classic. Nice. Yeah, so judging by this first picture that we've got here, it looks absolutely disgusting. Oh, the British part of me is crying internally. I can tell you that for nothing. Um, it just looks like you would have this with a straw rather than a fork or a spoon. And it looks so greasy as well. You can just, oh, it's like looking in the mirror as a 14-year-old. It's so greasy. Anyway, let's get into it and see how she made this delicacy.
I am really in the mood for some home-cooked classic comfort food. Today I am making cottage pie.
Why are you talking like this? She has a weird narration voice.
A classic dish made from minced beef with carrots and onion in a rich, savory gravy and topped with whipped mashed potatoes and baked to perfection. Yalla.
Perfection. Why are you talking like this? It's weird. I don't like it. Just be angry. At least I can deal with you when you're angry.
Alright, to start off, I'm just going to put a couple of tablespoons of olive oil in a pot.
That's no. That's not a couple of tablespoons of olive oil. You were telling me that is a couple of tablespoons. Now, we know how big some of Foodie's utensils are, so I would wager that that is a, if we're talking in tablespoons, we're looking about, I don't know, 7 or 8. And I don't even think she measured it. I think she just thinks that we're all stupid. And she's like, yeah, they'll think it's 2 tablespoons. They're all idiots. And no, some of us actually have cooked with olive oil before. And you don't really need olive oil for cottage pie anyway. Especially, it depends on the type of meat you're using, obviously. But you can replace that oil with like cooking spray, or just use the beef fat if you're using beef. But yeah, let's carry on.
A couple of tablespoons of olive oil in a pot, and then I'm going to add 1 pound of minced beef. This is supposed to be lean minced beef.
This is supposed to be lean minced beef. Now, anybody with adequate ocular capacity will be able to see that this is not lean beef. It is thoroughly marbled with fat here. And she's put the vegetables in with the mince, and you know, she hasn't given time for the vegetables to kind of saute and brown, and for the onions to caramelize or anything like that. She's kind of just dumped it all in. So I imagine it's going to taste quite weird.
With 1 large carrot and 1 medium onion, and I'm just going to cook this down on medium heat until everything gets nice and brown and the veggies cook down with the fat of the beef as well. A little bit like this, and I'm going to add some black pepper.
That's swimming in fat. That is, oh God. No, I mean, even when I was a big boy, even when I was a 500-pounder, I couldn't abide that kind of meat swimming in fat kind of thing. because it's just greasy. It's not even like the calorie content because, you know, at that point I wasn't minding the amount of calories I was ingesting. But yeah, God, you'd need like a whole roll of kitchen towels to get rid of this fat. So I imagine that this is just this mince is literally boiling in its own fat. I'd wager that the mince is like 20% fat mince, or maybe even higher than that. I don't know about Kuwait, but in the UK, I believe we've got 5%, 10%, and 20% mince that's like generally on sale. I guess you can make your own and have different amounts of fat in them. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's what I see in the UK supermarket. I don't really buy mince at all, to be honest with you. I don't really buy beef a lot. I've still got those Wagyu burgers from my grocery haul in the freezer. I'm just not. I see beef as like a really like a treat, you know, because it's quite expensive, obviously, beef. So I think I would prefer to cook steak. Well, not I prefer to have steak rather in a restaurant cooked by a chef, you know. That way I know it's done really well. So yeah, I see beef as a treat. And in my day-to-day life, I just have like chicken and occasionally pork. Now, obviously, with a cottage pie, you can change it to a coop pie, I guess, by adding by using turkey or chicken mince instead of beef mince. And you can also vegify it a bit. You can add pui lentils. The thing about red lentils is that they tend to dissolve, so you don't get them maybe in the finished product of cottage pie. But pui lentils are like they're made of stronger stuff, basically. So if you have half pui lentils and half mince, that's already a good change. But then if you have half chicken mince and half pui lentils, then that's even better. So there's so many different kind of little alternatives, little changes that you can make to your food in order to make it healthier. And I'm getting the sense that Foodie equates home cooked meals, whatever they may be, regardless of the fat and salt content, as healthy food. Whereas this is probably just as bad as one of her like takeaway mukbangs. Like I would probably equate this with like a burger and fries in terms of like calories. So, and maybe even the burger and fries might be better for her. Can you imagine that? Um, but yeah, it's not looking good so far.
Pepper. I'm not going to add too much salt. I end up adding a little pinch of salt, but the bouillon will be salty. Add about 2 tablespoons or so of.
So she's adding like three different types of salt in terms of like the bouillon, actual salt, and this tomato paste, which because it's concentrated, it will have and preserved, it will have extra amounts of salt in it. So she's already you can just hear her puffing up as she's narrating this, puffing up with edema and salt. Good lord.
Some tomato paste and just let that cook down for
Just like
a
that.
little bit until it evaporates. The juices evaporate a bit, but you want to add some.
There are no juices, it's just fat. Um, why are you adding flour to this? Especially if the juices, if the juices are like reducing down, they will naturally become thicker. You could just add a bit of corn flour to it or arrowroot, something like that, just to thicken up the gravy, which she has added. I believe she's added gravy granules to this, or maybe not. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. But maybe it's the beef bouillon that I'm thinking of. Bouillon. Um, Adding flour to this is completely unnecessary because it's just extra calories and it's also extra carbohydrates because she'll probably have used wheat flour. And you've got to really, really make sure that you stir the flour in thoroughly. Otherwise, you're just going to end up with with lumps of fatty dough in your pie, which is, fatty dough is the last thing that we want. Fatty dough would be a good jazz musician's name, wouldn't it? Musician. Why can't I say musician? There we go. Hey, look, it's Fatty Dough. Yeah, he's great on the saxophone. Easy. Right. Yeah, flour, delightful. This meal really needed some extra calories in it. God, let's carry on.
Flour, maybe 2 tablespoons to the rest of the juices so that it makes like a
I don't think she's like, yeah, 2 tablespoons of this, there's 2 tablespoons of that. There's 2 tablespoons of this, yeah, 2 tablespoons of that. Yeah, two of them, yeah. And she's not measuring any of this because she said 2 tablespoons of tomato paste, and she didn't measure it. So stop saying like actual measurements and just say a pinch of this or a soupçon of that or a smidgen, you know? Use adjectives rather than 2 tablespoons.
thick gravy. I also forgot to add that I added a few dashes of Worcester sauce and about
Worcestershire sauce. Worcestershire sauce. Worcester sauce. It's not difficult, people. It's not difficult. Worcester. Repeat with me. Worcester. Do the action too. Worcester. Like you're token. Worcester. Simple.
a cup and a half of water and 2 beef bouillon cubes. All right, here we go. It's been in the oven for 30 minutes.
I can feel my arteries clogging just looking at that. Oh, God. Why is she oven baked it in the pot as well? Oh, this is such a mess. Like I can see why it's so soupy now because she literally hasn't taken anything out of the pot. So she obviously put an amazing amount of cheese on top of this. Oh boy, I can see myself in that. Good Lord. And she called them whipped potatoes. So I'm reckoning she's added cream and butter to the potatoes as well to make them extra soft. Yeah, this just looks horrible. Foodie. Like, if this is you trying your best, don't. Just don't. Just order a salad. Good Lord.
On 375 and then on the broiler on high for about 5 minutes. And here is the end result. Yum.
Hello, guys.
I mean, it looks like you've already eaten it. And just a warning for you guys, she will be eating in this, so if you don't like her chomping sounds, I do apologise in advance. But yeah, this just looks horrible. And why you? What's this plate? I'm completely lost for words on this fine Sunday morning. Why are you using a dippy plate? Do you want to get some dippy action going on? So she's got olives, which, standard cottage pie accompaniment. Pickles, some sody. I hope it's diet sody. Pie soup and cabbage testicles. Those Brussels sprouts look absolutely horrendous. Well, firstly, I don't think she's like removed the outer leaves, which is a good idea to do with Brussels sprouts, or any kind of vegetable like that, like cabbage, lettuce, Brussels sprouts, all that kind of stuff, because there'll be a lot of dirt in the crevices. Always check your crevices for dirt. That's all I'm saying. Yeah, they also look frozen. I've had frozen Brussels sprouts before, and I've said it to other people. I think frozen Brussels sprouts taste like how grass smells, if you know what I mean. You know, like that kind of earthy kind of smell that you get up your nose after freshly mowed grass. It's that, but on your taste buds, and I find it absolutely abhorrent. Now, you know, some of us can't help but use frozen Brussels sprouts, but I haven't used them for a long time because I just I can't figure out how to make them taste nice. I just try and add all sorts of like herbs and spices to them, but I just can't get rid of that grassy smell taste, you know, and it's just horrible. But as you know, I use fresh Brussels sprouts 99% of the time, and fresh Brussels sprouts are absolutely wonderful, especially with like a bit of soy sauce, paprika, um, oregano, basil, things like that, you know. Um, yeah, I do love Brussels sprouts. They're pretty much my favorite vegetable, I would say. Um, and they're so good for you as well. Um, but not when they look like alien specimens. Like, I'm pretty sure a xenomorph might come out of this play at some point. Anyway, moving on.
Hello, welcome back to another video. Feels like it's been a while since I've had dinner with you guys, and tonight I cooked and I'm super excited to share with you
My God.
what I made. So I have some diet cola.
She's got the hyacinth bouquet dress on. Where's the candlelight supper? You must come and try one of my candlelight suppers. So we've got cottage soup and xenomorph eggs for dessert. Yes, yes. The major said it was the best time he's ever had.
Some air fried Brussels sprouts, and some cottage pie. Well made. Now this is a bit of a different recipe. I usually make pâté chinois, which I have made on my channel.
So pâté chinois, I believe, is it's like shepherd's pie or cottage pie, but with a layer of corn between the potatoes and the meat. I believe so. That's from what I've seen. Um, I I I don't really like corn with my cottage pie. I keep wanting to say shepherd's pie, but I don't like lamb. So cottage pie, cottage pie, cottage pie. If you say cottage pie 5 times in the mirror, a man appears and he gives you a shepherd's pie because he's just a mean boy like that.
Sorry for the squeaky table, by the way, in advance. And that has corn and like cream corn in it, and ground beef and potatoes. Now this has a gravy base, as you saw in my intro here. So yes,
It has a gravy base and also an incredible amount of beef fat. It's a beef dripping base. Mmm, tastes as good as it sounds.
this is just, you can add whatever veggies you want to it. And I did put cheese in the potatoes. So yeah, a little bit of Gouda.
Of course
I had
you
some
did.
olives and some of these sour pickles. They're so sour. Watch. Beat bite. Bismillah.
So if we're looking at this in terms of somebody who needs to control their diabetes, which is what we are looking at, this is a pretty horrendous meal, to be honest with you. And for somebody who has to look after their heart health as well, this is a very horrendous meal. So you've got all of the salt from the pickled olives and pickles. You've got the cheese from the cheese, which is full of salt. You've got the high fat content from the beef, which is just swimming in its own fat. It hasn't been drained or anything. You've also got the salt from the beef bouillon cubes. You've also got the salt from the tomato paste. You've got the fat from the olive oil, which, yeah, it's a good fat, but you can completely cut that out, especially if you're using a high fat meat like beef. And then, if you're supposed to be watching your blood sugars and your salt content and your fat content, you would really want to use a poultry mince as opposed to a red meat mince. So there, like I say, there are so many changes she could have made to this dish, but I guess she was going for the nostalgia factor of the comfort food of shepherd's pie. And it's not what she needs right now. She needs, like, chicken, nice spicy herby chicken baked without any fat, some nice fresh vegetables. You can air fry the vegetables, I don't see why not. You know, if she had like zucchini, peppers, things like that. Carrots, I guess, are kind of okay, but they are quite high in starch and sugar. So probably best to leave them out when you're trying to control your diabetes. But yeah, I would say overall this meal is terrible for her. And like I said earlier, she just thinks because it's homemade, it's going to be healthy. But I would wager this is worse than one of her takeaway mukbangs for sure.
They're so good.
I don't really understand why you would subject yourself to sourness, but
So let's eat dinner together and chat. Let's try
right.
a Brussels sprout. Now the key to these Brussels sprouts is
that was not nice. That did not look nice when she dug into that. It looked like it was about to explode internally. It was going to combust.
adding a bit of Worcestershire sauce.
Worcestershire. I mean, I shouldn't be surprised that she likes everything soft, because that seems to be her big thing when she talks about food. Oh, this is so soft. Like, I'm not surprised if she would actually puree everything eventually and just drip it down her gullet like some kind of, through like a funnel. The filthy beast.
Just a bit. Also, potato, you know what? You have to eat with ketchup. This, no ketchup.
No, darling.
Still hot.
Yeah, I can tell. It's got stink lines coming off it.
I can taste the tomato influence. Now,
Oh, never change, Foodie. I can taste the tomato influence. Yes. Yes, I'm getting the tomato influence right there. Yeah. I'm getting carrot notes as well. Darling, yes, lovely. She's trying her best, and that's all we can ask of her.
I've been just craving like a home-cooked meal that used to.
Stop giving in to your cravings, because giving in to your cravings has what gotten you to the point of bad kidneys, bad heart, bad veins, bad arteries, bad capillaries, bad everything, and sciatica. Stop giving in to your cravings. It's not good for you.
to eat growing up.
Ah, yes, an olive chaser with my shepherd's pie. Cottage
These
pie.
lemons are lemon. I mean, these
Pardon?
olives are lemony.
Uh-oh.
They had a preserved lemon in them. I don't know. They're good though.
I love this little bit of grease here that's kind of trying to run away from its globular mother. Oh god, this is so vile.
Not too salty, and the beef broth really complements the beef flavor.
The beef broth really complements the beef flavor. Well, yeah, they're both the same, Foodie. Never change, Foodie, never change. Because we know you're not going to.
So, I've been recovering from just many illnesses.
Yeah.
Major kidney infection, and
Yeah.
my sciatica's been acting up.
Oh,
Flaring up.
Really? Yeah.
My right leg.
Yeah. Yeah, you carry on, sweetheart. You keep on eating first and then tell us
But-
all about it.
And it is painful even just sitting here. And then
Oh, you
I cleaned
moved
out my
then?
fridge. It had to be done. Like, I took out every shelf, cleaned everything. And
Can you imagine how dirty her fridge was? I bet it was like I bet she needed a hazmat suit to start cleaning it.
and I vowed not to. This is why I'm cooking. I'm like, I'm not throwing away any more food. I'm not, gonna waste any more food. I have to eat what we have.
Fair enough.
Every veggie, every fruit.
Maybe
So,
do without the fruit for a bit. It's really hot by the look of it, Foodie. Maybe you should wait until it's cooled down a bit.
and I
Ew.
loved, even though I was in pain, I loved cooking. Like, it feels like an accomplishment. I don't know.
Well done, you. Well done for achieving basic needs. That's one of Maslow's hierarchy ticked off. Well done.
So I was craving this. And also,
Also, not only, but also,
when I'm sick or something like that, 80s horror movies.
goodness me, she's going great guns
I
at
just
everything,
watched
isn't
Black
she?
Christmas with Olivia Hussey and Margot Kidder.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not a movie fan. I don't really watch many movies. I did watch Spaceballs the other day, though. That's funny. Um, I, yeah, I'm just not a big movie fan. I don't really go to the movies very often. I don't watch movies very much. So yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm sorry I'm so boring. Chompety chompety chomp, chomp, chompety chompety chomp, chomp, chompety chompety chomp, chomp.
Excellent classic.
Excellent classic.
Although, was that from the 70s? I don't know.
I don't know, darling.
Right now I'm
You tell
rewatching
me.
Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
That game's
That movie's
terrible.
hilarious.
Yeah, the movie's funny, but
I love it.
the game's terrible.
I love 80s culture. If I had to pick a decade, now, I mean, I am a bit biased because I was born in 1984, but it's also, I guess, my mom, she was like,
Ah, that she looks so happy holding that little bundle of joy. Ah, yeah. Foodie already looking like she wants to eat the everything.
in her late teens in the 80s. So she dressed the part, and she always had on 80s music like Belinda Carlisle.
Oh yeah, she always used to have 80s music on during the 80s. Yes. Good that.
Hair metal like Styx and Scorpions.
Hold on. No, 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 no. Styx and Scorpions are not hair metal. What are you on about? Like, correct me if I'm wrong, but both of those bands started in the 70s, right? And Scorpion's biggest hit, Winds of Change, or Wind of Change, whatever, I think that was in the 90s. I'm assuming they did some work between the 70s and the 90s, but I definitely don't remember Scorpions being a hair metal band. They were like just a German rock band, right? And Styx for Styx. Diddly dee. Like if you're looking for hair metal, you're probably looking at like Motley Crue, what's the names? Poison. Or is she just assuming that like anybody who has hair is hair metal? I mean, yeah, it's technically true. Like Bruce Dickinson, he had hair, right? So does that make Iron Maiden hair metal? I don't know. Peter Gabriel, he doesn't have hair anymore, but was he hair metal back in the day? I don't know. Same with Phil Collins. Was he hair metal? I don't know. It's very odd. I don't know if Foodie is aware of the existence of bands without hair, or bands that were around in the 80s that weren't considered hair metal. I don't know. I don't know. I'm just so confused right now.
I mean, she had a lot of 80s movies.
80s movies in the 80s?
Like Adventures in Babysitting. Remember that movie?
No.
But my best friend, who was my neighbor,
Wow.
she was just allowed to get away with more. Like, her parents didn't really
Were you jealous of that?
supervise. That's why I liked going there.
I
They would
mean,
let us stay up late listening.
that's not a good thing. Like, I went round to my friend's house because her mum just let us do what we wanted. You do need a bit of discipline in your life. And I'm guessing, all this lack of discipline is where we've got to now. Mind you, I was disciplined a lot as a child and I still kicked out. Mind you, I was a Catholic boy, and Catholics tend to be the most rebellious when they're children, to be honest with you, in my experience.
to her music. And she had a TV in her room and a VHS player. I'm that old.
I'm only a year younger than you, love. We're not that old. Good lord. I know you dress like a grandma, but I bloody don't.
And I hit the jackpot with sleepovers there because she was allowed to watch horror movies. Me, if I wanted to rent a horror movie, I would go to a video rental place and they would call my mom for permission. It actually said that on the rent.
What? They wouldn't do that. That's absolute rubbish. Like, when I tried renting Dumb and Dumber when I was 11, right? And I think it's a 12 certification. They wouldn't let me rent it, and I knew the shopkeeper, I knew the shopkeeper's wife, I knew the shopkeeper's son. They knew my mum, they knew my nan, they knew my uncles, they knew my granddad. They still wouldn't let me rent Dumb and Dumber. Come on, you're just making up stuff, Foodie. That's very unlike you.
Rental account. Call for permission, and it was always no.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
I remember the guy calling my mom once. Yeah, Mrs. Settle. Yeah, your daughter's here trying to rent.
Mrs. Sarro, parting is such sweet sorrow.
Slumber Party Massacre. Yeah.
She's proper demolishing that glop, isn't she? Oh, it's so greasy. It's so greasy.
I always love horror movies, always.
In Italian culture, right, there's this thing called scarpetta, which is like you get a piece of bread and you just, put it all around the plate to get all that lovely sauce at the end of the meal. And can you imagine the amount of grease that would soak a piece of bread from that meal? Oh, God. Oh God, you'd have to call Exxon Valdez and tell them that there's been a slick. Ugh. We need to get Greenpeace out and do something about this plate.
I don't really taste the cheese in the potatoes.
That's because you've got one
Like kind of
taste
just
bud.
melted in.
You've only got one taste bud, darling. Darling, sorry. So, if you can't taste the cheese, I think there's something wrong there. And I mean, Gouda doesn't really have that much of a taste, especially when it's melted down. I believe Gouda is quite a nutty kind of cheese, so it's not going to have that much taste to it. But still, with the amount of cheese that she put on, you'd think she would be able to taste some of it. But that lonely taste bud on her tongue's like, what's that? Cheese? No, I don't even know what cheese is. I just know hot sauce, beef fat, and potato fries. I've been working here for 85 years and I've never seen anything else. So, yeah, just wake me up when there's more sriracha on the way, okay?
To everything. And tomato sauce. The gravy. Excellent dinner.
You've got a very low bar for excellence.
So yeah, that's what I've been doing. Just reminiscing back in the 80s. And as
Yeah.
for food,
Regression is what we call it. I don't know. I've always like this is armchair stuff, entertainment purposes only. But I always feel like she has had some kind of arrested development at some point in her teenage years, and has just never kind of grown out of being a 14, 15, 16-year-old. And I guess you can kind of tell that from how she acts and hits out at people. She gets very juvenile, and when she talks about other people, she kind of reflects everything onto herself and calls other people juvenile when she does things like make weird drawings of people, or call somebody a poopy peepee head, or tell somebody to F off. She's yeah, I think when she's really, really bad, when she's down in the doldrums, I think she does regress to this point in the 80s and early 90s where I guess, simpler times, something like that. And, we all like to look back on our childhood and try and find those fond memories as much as we can. But she does seem to be stuck, um, which I guess is quite unfortunate. But, she's not a nice person, so we can't feel that sorry for her.
you're probably wondering, like, what kind of diet are you doing?
Yeah, what kind of diet are you
I'm
doing?
starting with
Yeah,
is making food at home.
right,
And no, like, sweets, desserts, stuff like that.
right. Look at that grease. My God. I could see John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John in that.
If I really want something sweet, I have some fruits. I have some fruit. And yeah,
Just don't have it. You're not denying yourself. You are trying to make yourself live for longer. Stop giving in to your cravings, because it is literally unaliving you at this point. Like, I can already see you puffing up just from the past couple of days. You really need this education as soon as possible, and I don't think you're going to go. I don't think you're going to go to these diabetes classes. I don't think you're going to go to the obesity clinic. I don't think you're going to go to a nutritionist. This is all just performative stuff for another couple of days, and then you're going to go back to your normal mukbangs, and the cycle will repeat itself ad infinitum, or until something happens. And it's going to get to that point very soon, because you're just not clued up on how to eat properly. And one of the things that I did to help myself when I was trying to eat healthily was I did research in order to find out good foods for me to have. And I kind of worked with like different kinds of herbs and spices so that I could do without as much salt as possible. So nowadays I don't add extra salt to cooking. Now some of the foods I have do have salt in them, so I still have bacon and cheese. But my blood pressure has come back fine. My cholesterol level is lower than normal. So I'm not saying that I can afford to do these things, but they're not as bad as they make them out to be. I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Basically, if you're at a very bad position in your life, it's probably best to do without the things that you've enjoyed that are trying to destroy you.
I'm just going to be cooking like real food from home, nothing packaged.
Right.
No sugary drinks.
I don't know. She's kind of trying. I think she's trying to reason with herself a bit, and then the defiant part of her brain's like, "No, don't be silly. We'll just, it's just a little temporary thing, just to fool the audience, and then we'll be back. We'll be on form."
Not too much salt, but I know that olives and pickles have a lot of salt. I
Yeah.
love pickles and olives.
Not just olives and pickles. It's like pretty much every other ingredient in the meal had salt in it. So, yeah, that's just the kind of another sign of her being uneducated about food. Like, she didn't know that lentils had carbohydrates in them. She just thought they were a protein. So, yeah, if she was armed with appropriate education, she probably could do a lot better. But I guess she's, I think a lot of the time she's willfully ignorant. And it's, what's it called? Weaponized incompetence, I think, is one of her things. Like, she'll just claim to not understand, and she'll use that every single time to, like, make her to justify her eating. I think that's what's going on here.
It's a hard one to give up. But no more salty snacks like sunflower seeds. I used to eat a kilo of those
Bloody hell.
in like 4 days.
Sunflower seeds really high in fat.
The barbecue sunflower seeds.
Like, seed fats are decent for you, but probably not a kilo worth. Look how greasy that plate is. The thing is, she's saying that's really delicious. It's because there's so much grease and fat in it. She can't taste anything else. And she's used to that kind of like, that takeaway kind of taste of general like beigeness on her tongue. So yeah, I'm not surprised that she found that delicious. It just looked like a greasy mess. Glug, 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 glug. Could you not have had water with this meal? That might have been a bit helpful.
So yes, at times, I'll probably bring you in my kitchen and cook and stuff like that when I feel up to it.
No, thank you.
Otherwise, I'll have dinner with you once in a while. Sometimes vlogs, sometimes updates on my life and stuff like that.
She's really not wanting to do this health arc, is she? Because she's like, me. She just wants to do the low effort mukbang. She doesn't even want to cook, really, does she?
Right now I'm just focusing on feeling better. The summer is just too dangerous, especially like diabetics. We dehydrate quicker.
Yeah, but you were diabetic before you went to Kuwait, so what are you even saying at this point?
The sun is brutal. It's like, there was like in the Kuwait news, I don't know if this is true, but it's going to be over 53 degrees Celsius this coming, maybe it's already.
I mean, it's kind of hard to lie about the weather. Just, get a thermometer or something, or get a barometer and take it outside with you.
It is the weekend. Oh my gosh. I'm losing track of time here. So
time is something you need.
Once in a while I'll go out and maybe we can do something, but I'm going to be doing a lot more in like the winter and like when we travel and stuff. It needs to get cooler for me to do anything, and I need to be healthier. So
I would suggest maybe thinking about the next day as opposed to the next season, because you're not replete with time at this point, especially with all the medications you're taking, all the things that are wrong with you. You kind of need to consider a really, really short-term plan to get yourself better. And putting off these obesity clinic and nutrition appointments aren't going to be helping.
Working on that. That's mostly what my focus is going to be. So probably a lot of vlogs around the house. I'll try to be creative somehow to keep you guys entertained. I don't know. But I just like talking with you guys too with live streams. I really love just talking to you guys, like just chilling and making each other laugh. I love to laugh. I like to be silly. I don't think that will change at any age, you know? Yeah, I don't care. I love being silly.
Yeah, you're being very silly right now with the food that you're choosing and choosing to be willfully ignorant.
Anyways, guys, no makeup today. It's either cook or be snatched. I can't do both. I can't do, babes, can't do.
Right. So you can only do one thing a day. That's kind of limiting yourself, Foodie. Right, I can either shower or I can sit like a seal for 18 hours. Oh, decisions, decisions.
No way. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you had something good to eat. This was really, really good.
Yeah, I had something much better than grease on a plate. Thank you so much. I could actually eat my food with a knife and fork rather than a straw.
Like the gravy, like mixing with the mashed potatoes. I loved it. So yeah, and like traditional shepherd's pie is made with lamb. Cottage pie is made with beef. I think I've said that before.
Thank you so much.
Anyways, you better be behaving.
I mean, I'm behaving more than you, Foodie, so, you know, you take care of yourself, darling, all right. So yeah, that was Foodie being an absolute monstrosity for another, I don't know, 16 minutes. Lovely stuff. I hope you enjoyed the video. Yes, I'm still actually in the process of waking up, so I'm sorry if I was a bit muddly-duddly. But that's what I get for doing my videos early in the morning and having to look at a greasy cottage pie. And that's not a euphemism, by the way. So, yes, I hope you all enjoyed, and I shall see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.